Oh, it's recording.
It looks like it's recording.
Good.
I have record on my screen.
Nice.
Well, welcome everyone. So glad you could join us for our New Hampshire Conference 2020 Mission Income and Spending Plan hearing today on October 10th. As you will see on the screen, we have our presentation available to us. But before we get started, I'd like to go through and just do a few housekeeping items. First of all, it'll be imperative that you keep your screen on mute so that we don't get any problems with feedback. Second of all, we will be taking questions. We would ask that you hit the chat button, which is in the upper right-hand corner, and type in your question. And then one of us will call on you so that we can actually have the discussion of the question. Also, at the end of every screen, I will ask if there are any questions. But please feel free to interrupt us at any point and ask any of those questions. In addition, I wanted to remind you that this is being recorded so that it can be shown on our YouTube channel and will be available through the weekly news. So please be aware that it is being recorded. And finally, I'll mention this again at the end, but if you have follow-up questions after you watch this presentation, please email them to bod@nhcucc.org, and that'll be shown again on the last screen. All right, let's get started. Next screen, Gordon. Thank you. All right, I just want to quickly go over the agenda for what our time together will be like. I want to do some welcome and introductions. We'll talk a little bit about the background of the Mission Income and Spending Plan process. We'll talk about the 3 keys for the 2020 Mission Income and Spending Plan. We'll go through a brief review of the income and expenses that we are planning for 2020. We'll do a little bit of talking about what the bottom line gives us. Then we'll summarize, take additional questions, and do a wrap-up. So what I'd like to do is just introduce the folks that are here on the call with us and providing most of the information. I'm Marcy Miller. I'm the current president of the New Hampshire Conference, at least for the next week and a half, until the end of the annual meeting. Also with me is Carolyn Kiley, who is our president-elect, who will be taking over and has been very involved in the budget and MISP planning process. And Gordon Rankin, our conference minister, is here with us and will provide some background and insights. So those are the 3 key folks involved on this call, and we'll talk about the committee in just a couple of minutes. So let's talk about the background for the budget development process. We've actually had this same process in place for 6 years. We developed it when we switched over to the new conference structure. And the idea was to find a process that was engaging, involving a number of folks. And we feel we've kind of had it evolve over the last 6 years into a process that we feel works relatively well. Our current committee for the 2020 Mission Income and Spending Plan was chaired by Bill McIntyre, a longtime member of the Board of Directors. In addition, we had Roger Ahrens, who represented the Finance Ministry team, Brian Edwards, also a longtime Board of Directors member with an awful lot of expertise in finance, Lydia Frasca, our current conference finance officer, John Herbert, our current conference treasurer, Carolyn Kiley, who is a longtime member of the finance group from prior years and is currently our president-elect, myself, Marcy Miller, and Gordon Rankin. The process was meant to engage all of our ministry teams as represented by their chairs and their mission groups. We felt it was important that we had a wide range of folks involved, and as part of the process, people and ministries were sharing their plans for the coming year. So that helped spark interest and maybe even encourage some sharing across ministries. So it was a great time for all of the ministry teams and chairs, and sometimes their mission groups, to be engaged and involved. And part of the process included a budget summit where we gathered in the middle of the summer to share all of our ideas and plans and take a preliminary look at the mission income and spending plan, so that we all had a sense of ownership of that plan, as well as what it entailed and how our mission groups and ministry teams were engaged in that. Are there any questions at this point? Hearing none, I'm going to hand it over to Carolyn to talk about the 3 key aspects of the 2020 Mission Income and Spending Plan. All yours, Carolyn.
Thank you, Marcy. I will be walking you through some highlights of the Mission Income and Spending Plan for 2020. Found on the annual meeting page of our conference website are 2 important documents: the rather straightforward single-page proposed Mission Income and Spending Plan for 2020, and the accompanying multi-page narrative, which gives a detailed explanation of our projected income stream and our collaborative recommendation on how we spend our mission dollars. So let me give you some quick points for your discernment. The first is the plan to seek an additional $1 of fellowship dues, also known as membership dues, moving from $11 to $12 per person. The second major point also has to do with income. We anticipate that in 2020 that there will be a decline in our OCW gifts, an estimate which is based on previous year's giving rates. Lower OCWM giving from our member churches impacts our mission in the New Hampshire Conference. To address that, we are recommending changing the percent of OCWM gifts that we share with our national setting from 40% to 35%. I want to highlight, however, that this proposed change includes a commitment to share net revenue, or the bottom line, at a 50% rate with the national setting if the conference has a surplus at the end of the year. The third area of discernment is that we are projecting a deficit for 2020. When we began our work of reconciling our projected income and our anticipated expenses, we were looking at a deficit of about $100,000. After the various adjustments, we now anticipate one of around $36,000. So let's go into a little bit more detail. I mentioned the plan for changing both the percentage of OCWM giving that remains with the New Hampshire Conference and the change in fellowship dues already. So let's move on to some other key areas of our revenue stream. I can share with you the good news that we have a newly signed lease for the cell tower on Pine Mountain that promises us continued yearly revenue. And for the first time in several years, all the rental space is filled at our conference office. Our rental income is anticipated to be greater in 2020 than it is going to be in 2019 and in previous years. Our well thought out investment plan will continue to offer a stable income stream, and we anticipate those who have a passion for the ministries of our New Hampshire conference will continue to support it through their gifts during our twice yearly appeals. Rob Grable has done wonders launching a Friends of Horton Center appeal, and we anticipate this will generate more support for our beloved outdoor ministry programs on that site. The bottom of the slide shows the top 2 areas that bring in the highest income in support of the work of our conference. You will also note that we anticipate our revenue will be about $20,000 less in 2020 than our estimate of what will be received this year. When we look at our mission spending plan, based on current projections and including the change in percentage shared with our national setting, you see that we will share $25,643 less in 2020, unless our OCWM giving exceeds expectations. Should more OCW gifts come in, then this amount will go up. The New Hampshire Conference is blessed with active and vital ministry teams that encourage a wide variety of mission groups who reflect the body of Christ on our behalf. From offering a confirmation retreat at Horton Center, to caring for our immigrant and refugee neighbors, to providing curriculum so that we may learn to be racial justice or open and affirming churches, to being a part of numerous ecumenical wider church initiatives, to supporting our association committees on church and ministry, and even helping us learn how to be more generous. We would not be who we are without our ministries and their associated mission groups. The mission and work of all those who are part of the ministries or the mission groups is something we can all be proud of. And we plan to honor our covenant with our associate conference minister with a gift of time for sabbatical leave in 2020. The figure shown will provide for a limited part-time position. Horton Center is now showing financial improvement. Kudos to the faithful hard work and perseverance of many, many people who have turned our outdoor ministry programs around and or have contributed financially to this vital ministry's support. We are optimistic that Horton Center will conclude the 2020 season in the black. Now here is a simple breakdown of expenses by ministry teams. Detailed information can be found in the annotated or narrative of the proposed mission income and spending plan, which is on the front page of the New Hampshire Conference website in the annual meeting section. And finally, here are some broad strokes of what the mission income and spending plan for 2020 will look like. You see that our OCWM shared will be for us $184,450. That the ministries, the work of our conference through our ministries and mission group, we anticipate we will spend $70,510. The general mission, keeping our buildings going and paying our conference ministers and staff, will be $835,335. The additional support for Horton Center, we do not anticipate will be needed next year, and so that's zero. And then we do have a loan repayment for a van, I believe. And so those will bring us to a $36,079 deficit. I will now turn this back to Marcy.
And while we have a break here, Gordon, is there anything that you needed to add or felt we needed to provide additional information, or should we just jump into the summary at this point?
I think going straight to the summary makes sense.
Okay, doke, perfect. So I just want to summarize again that we have 3 critical pieces of our mission, income, and spending plan. The 3 keys include reducing our share with national from 40% to 35%. In addition, we will be increasing our fellowship dues by $1 per member. Unfortunately, this still results in a deficit of approximately $36,000. Key to understanding this is that we anticipate that most of our conference events will be self-funding, meaning that we will charge some expense to participate, and that should be covering the expenses for that event. We do look forward to 2020 with some positive feelings and experience. We expect this year to have an active finance ministry team, because in 2019 we lost our chair. That ministry team lost a little bit of enthusiasm and vitality, and we expect now that Neil Cass has agreed to take on the chairmanship of that finance ministry team, we expect we'll be in good hands. And as Carolyn mentioned, and you will also hear at the annual meeting, our Horton Center vitality is on the up and up, and we expect to continue to see financial improvements and look forward to that as well. So at this point, I would like to thank everyone for participating. Gordon, thank you for making this all happen. Carolyn, thank you also that we have pulled this all together, and we really hope that we will see all of you at the October 19th annual meeting at the Grapponi Center. And if you are listening to this or watching this video after the fact, please, if you have additional questions, please email them to bod@nhcucc.org. So we thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you, Gordon, and thank you, Carolyn.